to Capital One Bowl Mania.
Welcome to the inaugural DXL Frisco Bowl here in North Texas at Toyota Stadium. It's the Louisiana Tech Bulldogs, 6-6 out of Conference USA, against the hometown team, the SMU Mustangs, who come in with a record of 7-5 out of the American Athletic Conference. So glad to have you with us here at Toyota Stadium. Mike Cousins and John Congemi. Chris Button will join us from the field in just a moment. It's been an interesting couple of weeks here for SMU after a nice season. Their head coach, Chad Morris, leaves for Arkansas, and just 9 days ago, Sonny Dykes takes the job, and he's coaching tonight.
Well, Mike, I think it's a great opportunity for Sonny Dykes because he was able to observe practice. Tonight he's going to be able to evaluate talent. And with signing day today, signing day in February, you're going to be able to see where you need to stockpile talent at wide receiver, at quarterback, at running back. This is a great opportunity not only to learn his team, but learn about SMU.
We'll learn a little bit more as well. We go down to the field moments ago. Chris caught up with Coach Dykes.
Coach, you took over a program 9 days ago. Why was it important for you to coach this game?
Well, it was a great opportunity for me to get to know the players, spend some time with those guys. Just learn about them. I don't know if it went down the way anybody would envision it going down, but it's been a great thing for me, and I think the players have adjusted well, and it's a real credit to their character. New
players, new playbook for you. How do you see your role tonight?
Well, just got to provide leadership for these guys. I mean, we got to make sure we stay steady and calm. And, I've learned a little bit of the playbook. Not everything, certainly, but we'll have a couple of wrinkles maybe they hadn't seen in the past. But they got a lot of confidence in G.J. Kinney's calling the game for us. He's a good young football coach. He'll do a heck of a job.
Thank you, Coach.
Okay, thank you.
G.J. Kinney is a grad assistant who's been handed the reins for play calling tonight to one of the best passing offenses in America.
Mike, it's all about explosive plays. SMU had 64 plays of 20 yards or more. That was tied for 5th in the FBS. Ben Hicks throwing the football, 32 touchdowns, over 3,400 yards, but it's the outside guys. It's Cortland Sutton at 6'4", 216 pounds. It's Trey Quinn on the inside. It's a 1-2 punch. Both guys at 12 touchdowns, both guys over 1,000 yards. They are playmakers, especially in the red zone with Sutton. Throw it up, and he's going to go get it.
Louisiana Tech becoming bowl eligible down the stretch. They had no safety net. They had to win their last couple games just to get here to Frisco, and they did it. Perseverance powered them into the postseason.
And I like what Skip Holtz has done at Louisiana Tech. He's brought stability, and he's brought some toughness. They were in some tough games, a lot of close games that didn't go their way, but they found a way to persevere and get to a bowl game.
Last second sour ending against South Carolina. A couple other games, 1-4 in those one-score games, but playing SEC and bigger teams early in the season said he got them to their level exactly where they wanted to be, and they have a great rushing attack.
Well, he does it with a 1-2 punch. It's Jared Kraft and it's Boston Scott. He averaged over 100 yards per game this season, 8 rushing touchdowns. He's the sizzle guy at 5'6". So first, if you're SMU on defense, you have to find him, then you have to corral him.
A lot of big names who are alums of these schools here today, including the 4-time Super Bowl champ and Louisiana Tech alum Terry Bradshaw. And we've got kickoff, the DXL Frisco Bowl, coming up. Welcome back to North Texas, the DXL Frisco Bowl here at Toyota Stadium as we get set for kickoff between Louisiana Tech and SMU. 58 degrees. It was rain of biblical proportions over the last 24 hours. Fortunately, that has all cleared out, and it's a cool but comfortable evening tonight here in Frisco. John, as you heard Coach Dykes allude to, it'll be an interesting night play calling wise because G.J. Kinney, the grad assistant, is calling plays. We'll go down to the field and check in with Chris. It's an interesting one.
It is, and I talked to him this week. This will actually be the first time he's ever called plays. He said jokingly, except for the 8th grade select team that he coached many, many years ago. He said that Sonny Dykes is giving him the freedom to call what he wants, and he's not going to be looking over his shoulder. I asked him before the game how the nerves compare now to every other game, and he said, yeah, a little bit more than usual.
Certainly expect that with Chad Morris taking a good chunk of his offensive staff with him to Arkansas in the coaching change. So SMU winning the coin toss And taking the ball here to start, their sophomore quarterback, Ben Hicks, leads this great offensive charge.
Like what Ben has done this season, he's been able to get the football out quickly, tempo in the offense. He finds his explosive plays, doesn't try to force the football. 4 games this year, he's thrown for 4 touchdowns. That's very impressive, and he's tied for first at SMU with 51 career touchdowns. So this is a guy with 1 touchdown. He'll be at the top of the list.
Ball comes loose on the first play of the game. The Louisiana Tech sideline celebrates as they force a turnover to start the night. Jalen Ferguson, the defensive end, falling on top of it after Xavier Jones coughed it up.
Ferguson's that playmaker on the edge of Louisiana Tech's defense, and it just looked like a hand gets in right there at the point of attack, and Ferguson all over the football. It might have been Ferris who got a hand on it. Ferguson on top of the fumble by Jones in excellent field position now for Louisiana Tech.
Both teams have been plenty capable of getting turnovers. Now the question will be here for the Bulldogs in the early going. Can they turn the turnover into points?
Well, sudden change. Both teams now facing at SMU, who's been pretty good with their backs against the goalpost defensively.
4-receiver look on first down. Jamar Smith, the redshirt sophomore quarterback, a very capable runner, stretches out and picks up about 4 on first down, taken down by Kyron Mitchell.
Smith, one of those quarterbacks. I like talking with Skip Holtz, their head coach, about him. He says he doesn't panic. He's going to go through his progression. He's one of those great competitors, and you need that at the quarterback position. You need a guy that's going to fight you, and especially fight you when things get tough, and that was the case for Jamar early in the season.
Finishing off here tonight, his first full season as a starter. That's Boston Scott, the redshirt senior out of Baton Rouge, with a short pickup on second down.
Need to take advantage early on this turnover if you're the Bulldogs offensively. That means converting here on third down.
Smith with a quick throw. That ball tipped, and it falls incomplete on 3rd and 4. Bulldogs don't get what they're looking for, but still an opportunity for points after the opening drive turnover by SMU.
Mike, really nice play by the star linebacker Robinson. He's going to come from the short side of the field and get into the throwing lane. 24 in blue. He's going to get that left hand on the football. Good timing and good anticipation by Robinson.
Jonathan Barnes, a redshirt senior, for the kick to try and get scoring started here tonight, and that kick is no good. Off to the left for Barnes. A miss from 37.
Well, that'll get you going on the SMU sidelines if you're a new head coach in Sonny Dykes. Their defense has been very good when backed up close to the red zone. You get to know your players right away on a sudden change defense of staying that way to start the game.
Well, it certainly gives them reason to be optimistic to start. As he goes up against his old team, Louisiana Tech, spent the last year as an offensive analyst at TCU. So it won't be a far move for him going from Fort Worth over to SMU. 1st and 10 here from the 20 for the Mustangs. And Hicks goes to the air. Finds Quinn on the perimeter, the junior transfer from LSU.
Quickness is what Quinn loves to do. Usually he's in the slot or split out by the numbers, and he's going to run excellent routes, and Ben Hicks is going to find him with regularity.
That was his 107th catch of the year, most in FBS, and now just 5 shy of the school record set by Jeremy Johnson back in 2013. Pass over the top, caught by Sutton out at the 45-yard line. He is a huge target at 6'4". He can go up and get it with the best of them.
catch radius is what comes to mind when you think of Cortland Sutton. He's a guy that is willing to go over the middle. He's willing to go up and fight for tough catches, and that time he climbs the ladder and gets the ball down to the 45.
They go back to Jones as he takes it into Louisiana Tech territory. Nice gain of about 9 there on first down.
Tempo, pace is what SMU does offensively. They're going to give you a number of formations, get the football to 5, 6, 7 different players on offense.
Quickly to the line and snap it, and no gain on the play. It'll be 3rd and short.
Good penetration by Louisiana Tech. That front 7 led by Canty, the defensive end, getting into the backfield and rerouting Xavier Jones on that short 2nd down attempt.
That should be enough for the first down with Jones. Wrapped up by Jordan Bradford, the defensive tackle. This is drive number 2 for SMU after a fumble that went back to Louisiana Tech on the opening drive.
Mike, I wouldn't be surprised, new play caller G.J. Kinney, maybe go up top here. You get that first down, you cross the 50. Kind of feel like if you get the right coverage, especially Cortland Sutton to the short side of the field, right side up top, he may go for one over the top.
Just a single safety going deep down the sideline and a little bit too long as he made the right read but just overthrew Sutton.
That's where I would have went. I like the play call. You get the right matchup with your playmaker on the outside, and I like the aggressiveness of Kinney calling the plays for the first time. He goes to his main man on the outside, and all that needed to happen was Ben Hicks to put a little bit more air into the football, and that was 6 points.
Really not a lot to lose for G.J. Kinney tonight. You play aggressive, great. If it works out, even better. Quick throw, and that pass is intercepted. 2nd turnover of the night for SMU. Cedric Cooper coming back the other way with it, and it's momentum for the Bulldogs again.
Two quick turnovers by this Louisiana Tech defense. This time Cooper, it just looked like the timing was off. The ball, little pressure in the pocket. I'm not so sure that Trey Quinn was ready for the ball that quickly from Ben Hicks, but what a play by Cooper. Good concentration, and again, excellent field position set up by the defense of Louisiana Tech with this interception by Cooper. That's his 3rd of the year.
A big contributor with now the team's 17th interception of the year. They came into today 11th in FBS in interceptions. Kraft is the back, and we've got a whistle coming here before the snap.
Prior to the snap, delay a game. Number 8, offense. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
And those are tough ones for a coach on the sidelines if you're Skip Holtz. You miss out on an opportunity to get points with the first turnover, and now you start out behind the chains at 1st and 15 with the ball at the 35-yard line. That's a tough start for an offense.
On a night that's a little bit more difficult as they're without their 3rd leading wide receiver, Marlon Watts, who's down for the rest of the year with an ankle injury. Plenty of time to throw. Smith locates Adrian Hardy, the redshirt freshman out of Houston, for the catch.
Good patience shown in the pocket by Jamar Smith that time. As you mentioned, Mike, excellent pass protection up front. He scanned left, scanned right, finally got it to an outlet for a positive play to get some of that penalty yards back. Dead man coverage. This is where you need to attack the middle of the field. Get somebody on a bending route to the inside.
Smith surveys and goes exactly where he wanted to his leading receiver, Teddy Veal. Conference USA Newcomer of the Year, 2nd team All-Conference in his first year after transferring from Tulane. And they want to go quick here on 3rd and short. On the inside handoff, that's their power back, Jared Kraft, 6 foot, 222 pounds. and charging through the line.
And that's going to be very close to a first down. It looks like he got just enough. Ball on the 20. The officials give him a first down. So good job by Kraft getting those shoulders square to the goal line and moving the chains.
And he comes off. Boston Scott, most carries on the team, is back onto the field here, 1st and 10. Design run off to the near sideline for Smith. Capable ball carrier, coming in 110 carries and just over 350 yards for him.
And a really good read on the zone read. Tyson Neal's coming down on the running back, and Jamar decides to keep it for a positive play on first down.
Helping the team to a 6-6 record this year for Skip Holtz in his 18th year overall as a head coach, and now in his 9th bowl game as a coach as well.
Again, man coverage. You need to attack on the perimeter.
Well, they do after a couple of broken tackles. Finally do get to the perimeter. Scott, who's not only got speed, shows off some of the strength too.
And that's one of the things that's deceiving by a running back that's 5'6". He's going to make you miss in the backfield with his speed and quickness, and he has the power to break arm tackles on the edge of the defense.
Stretch down toward the goal line. It's Scott again. He gets down to the 1. Well, he comes in having scored a touchdown in 6 straight games to end the regular season and really got stronger as the year went on. Last 2 games for him were his best. 134 yards and 138 the last 2 weeks.
Mike, what a really good play defensively by Kyron Mitchell. He's able to stop Louisiana Tech dead in their tracks in the backfield.
It's not the first time this year he's come up with a big goal line stop.
You may look at quarterback run.
Stuff it inside for Scott, and he is short again inside the 1-yard line. Let's see if they load up and get a little bit more power here. We see Jared Kraft, the other running back, coming onto the field, 4th down.
I would think so. You get Jared Kraft, he's at 6 foot 222 pounds. You've got less than a yard for a touchdown. You need to take advantage of this second opportunity provided by the defense. You need 6 points here.
They go for the sneak on 4th and short. Time to peel away the layers of the pile. It's a touchdown, Louisiana Tech, and the Bulldogs strike first off the interception by Cedric Cooper.
Mike, somewhere in this mass of humanity is Jamar Smith with the football breaking the play, number 8 for Louisiana Tech. So they do take advantage. Good surge by the offensive line. Mustangs there to challenge, but Jamar Smith reaching the ball over for 6 points.
A good push from the offensive line up front. That was a unit in transition just about all year long. They didn't start the same offensive line in back-to-back weeks until weeks 10 and 11. Extra point is good for Jonathan Barnes, who missed from 37 earlier. Couple of turnovers. SMU regretting it now with the Bulldogs out in front 7-0 early going. Back here on a chilly evening in North Texas, the DXL Frisco Bowl. Busy, busy, busy early on. Louisiana Tech up 7-0. They've got Terry Bradshaw, led the NCAA in passing back in 1968 here. The Pony Express, guys that you saw in your college career.
Yeah, they had a pretty good day in the Cotton Bowl the day I saw them.
And Sundance Head, the winner of season 11 of The Voice, sang the national anthem here today, and a DXL brand ambassador. Man, he's got a smooth voice, huh?
He's great. I got to admit, loved him on The Voice. Got to meet him last night. What a great guy.
Yeah, hashtag Team Blake.
That's right. That's my team. Won it again this year.
Out to the 21-yard line for Kevin Johnson on the return, and a flag comes down at the end of the play. So a flag thrown by Ted Pitts, our referee.
After the play, personal foul, late hit, number 46 on the kicking team. 15 yards from end of the run, first down.
So a bonus on starting field position. Late hit on the helmet by Ezekiel Barnett. SMU tries to even things up when we come back. Wait for commercials either. So they go on first down and get a gain of 2. Pressure coming up the middle as Hicks gets out of the pocket and throws a one-hopper to the sticks, and that's incomplete. It'll be 3rd and long here. Couple of early turnovers for SMU. Where do you think Ben Hicks is right now mentally?
Well, I think he's okay. He's been in a lot of games where they've had to score points in bunches. You know, they're averaging over 40 points a game. So right now, I don't think there's any panic with Ben Hicks. He just has to complete one pass here, keep his offense on the field, and get that momentum going for the Mustangs.
Louisiana Tech rushes 5. A second interception. This one won't be stopped. A pick 6. Amik Robertson, his team leading 5th interception of the year, makes it 13-0 Louisiana Tech.
Well, Ben Hicks felt pressure and his eyes came down. I think he just forces this one into double coverage. And the guy that leads the team in interceptions, Amik Robertson, comes down with his 5th, and all he had was green grass in front of him. Just good anticipation, playing his side of the football field, and Hicks forcing it into double coverage.
And quickly, in front of a home crowd for SMU, they are down 14-0. They've had 11 plays and 3 turnovers. Hicks under pressure gives it up. Robertson converts it.
The DXL Frisco Bowl, brought to you by DXL, the destination for men's XL apparel, the Lincoln Wish List sales event, and AT&T Small Business. Discover the power of AD.
Early 14-0 advantage for Louisiana Tech here in the DXL Frisco Bowl. Mike Cousins, John Kajemi, Chris Budden down on the sidelines. Glad you're with us here tonight, as Louisiana Tech gets set to kick it away after the pick 6 by Amik Robertson.
He's one of those guys that has a knack of finding the football. He can tackle for a guy that's only 5'9", but his 5th interception of the season. And it turns into points and a lot of momentum for Louisiana Tech.
Kevin Johnson out across the 35, out across the 40, and great starting field position here for the SMU offense as Ben Hicks will look to steady things so far with 2 picks, Chris.
Mike, watching Hicks on the sideline after the first one, he just brushed it off, telling his teammates I was trying to get the ball out too early and they got lucky. That second one, he took more ownership. I was watching him in the relationship with Sonny Dykes. Dykes trying to keep it lighthearted. They were laughing on the sidelines, really just trying to keep his spirits up.
Well, it's an unusual night for him with a head coach he's never played under before and a play caller who's not been the play caller all year, and the graduate assistant, G.J. Kinney, upstairs in the booth tonight. So they let him throw again. Cortland Sutton evades the first wave and gets out to the 50-yard line. A gain of 5 as he evaded Darrell Lewis and gets brought down by Robertson.
Well, I don't think Ben Hicks is going to shy away from throwing the football. This is a guy that has completed over 72% of his passes. He only threw 9 interceptions coming into this game, in this bowl game. So 2 tonight. Needs to calm down, needs to relax, needs that offensive line to help him out, but he needs to make better decisions from the pocket.
Second and 5, Braden West squirts through the middle. First down, cut down to the 39-yard line. Back to Kenny, who's upstairs in the booth calling the plays tonight. You played quarterback. How much importance should we place on the fact that it's a guy who's never done it before?
Well, I think there is a little bit of importance of that because, you know, their first time in a bowl game trying to feel out your offense and feel out your team. But this is the quarterback's best friend, the running game, and it's the play caller's best friend. Because when you can have balance with the tempo that you run on offense, it keeps the defense more predictable and it allows Ben Hicks to make cleaner reads. This one going for 14 on the ground. So if you can get that run game going, you can get maybe Ben Hicks going through the air.
Pressure coming off the edges. And it's West, the junior from Katy, Texas, who stopped short. Talking to Coach Dykes yesterday, he said he came in and sat down with Hicks for about 90 minutes as they watched film and helped each other learn exactly what their offensive hopes were for this game and going forward. And then said, who do you want to be your offensive play caller? Who meshes best with you? And it was Kenny, former Tulsa quarterback, who Hicks wanted to work with in this game. Soft toss to the edge for Sutton. His elusiveness takes him down the sideline and inside the 15. SMU with another first down, and they've looked as good as they have tonight here on this drive.
Well, Cortland Sutton's a guy that can take over a football game. We mentioned the touchdowns at 12, over 1,000 yards, and I'm sure Sonny Dykes is happy to have him in this bowl game because he's a guy you can just throw it up to.
Testing through the middle, it's Jones. Cut down at the 6.
Tackle made by number 8.
You get the feeling 14-0 is not a huge impediment to victory for SMU, considering that they've scored at least 20 points in each of their last 14.
Here's the matchup, bottom of the screen. You've got 6'4" against 5'9". If you want the climb the ladder throw.
Sutton's calling for it. Probably a little disappointed the ball didn't come his way, and instead they elected for Jones.
And it doesn't have to be the fade route to the back corner. It can be the back shoulder because of the catch radius of Cortland Sutton. That's the one I might want to dial up.
Now Sutton gets settled at the top of the screen. Play clock is down to 3 for Hicks and the Ponies. On the rollout, going backward. Heave back of the end zone, and he wisely gets rid of it.
Mike, really good job by Louisiana Tech and their defense getting off the field, but setting the edge. Didn't allow Ben Hicks with that trips to the wide side to break contain, to have a clear throwing lane. Good coverage in the red zone, but setting the edge by the defensive end and linebackers forced that throwaway to the back of the end zone.
Brings on Josh Williams here on 4th down to try the field goal from 25 and get SMU on the board, down 2 scores. So a chip shot for him, and it's good. It's 14-3. SMU with a great drive, and they come up just a little bit short of the goal line.
Oklahoma, Georgia, and Clemson, Alabama. New Year's Day on ESPN.
Couple of conference champions in the Rose Bowl. Clemson and Alabama meeting for the 3rd straight year on New Year's Day. And here we are, 5 days shy of Christmas, just the early portion of bowl season. Jaquise Dancy gets set to return the kick. Here from SMU, getting its first points of the day. Already 2 turnovers by the Mustangs, hurting them in the first quarter. Dancy up the middle of the field across the 40. He might take this one deep into SMU territory and out of bounds inside the 30-yard line for Dancy. And there is a flag down at the end of the play, dropped at the 36.
What a run by Dancy. He caught that in full stride, 65 yards if it stands. Let's check out the penalty.
There is no foul for tripping on the play. Number 5, miss. It'll be first down, Louisiana Tech.
Well, it looked like Williams didn't hit his best to kick off, and he sure didn't kick his best here going after Dancy. He might have got him a little bit going outside, but they pick up the penalty, and now another opportunity for Louisiana Tech. Excellent field position at the 26-yard line.
It's just a kicker doing what he knows how to do best.
That's right. That's right. That's why you shake your head at the kicker sometimes.
Smith on the toss for Scott, who looks to get the edge. About 7 or 8 on first down. A remarkable return from Dancy there on the kickoff. Chris, he's just a remarkable guy overall.
It's really a remarkable story. You could see how excited his teammates were for him. That's because a year ago, he was on the sidelines in street clothes. It was the only game he was able to go to because he was receiving treatment for Hodgkin's lymphoma. He has now been cleared of cancer, and his teammates tell him he is certainly something special.
Offside, defense, number 35. 5-yard penalty results in a first down.
Dancy got declared cancer-free February 9th of this year. He'd go to Memphis to St. Jude's Research Hospital every few weeks to get treatment, and finally made his return in spring practice this year. Yeah,
what a great story. You know, starts the 2017 season opener with a touchdown to take the lead. It was his first college touchdown of his career. He almost had one there on the kick return.
With Scott, the running back, in the slot. Here comes major pressure. Long throw with some zip on it. And it's inside the 10-yard line for Rashid Bonnet, the redshirt sophomore, with his first catch of the night.
Well, really good job by Bonnet after the quick release by Smith. 14 plays tonight, all deep in SMU territory. But Bonnet gets north and south. That really helped out Smith, his quarterback.
Smith decides to keep it. Might have been better getting rid of it. He got swallowed up quickly by the big sophomore Delonte Scott.
Scott staying at home at that defensive end position, swallows up Jamar Smith on that second down run. Good discipline, playing outside in by Scott and staying at home. And now Jamar on third down needs to convert here. Take advantage again of excellent field position.
They only need 2 for a first down. A fastball to the outside. They've got their first down yardage, and they've got their 6. It's Teddy Veal for the Louisiana Tech touchdown. They have come out absolutely sizzling in the first quarter.
I guess they say in Louisiana there's speed and then there's Louisiana speed. And that's just great quickness by Teddy Veal on the outside. He made something out of nothing because this is good bracket coverage. Just a quick screen, and it's a quick throw outside by Smith, but the dip inside, back outside, and terrific blocking on the perimeter by Oliver springs Veal into the end zone.
Oliver had a nice twist of the defender there to help set up the score.
We're getting pretty good at this. I like this.
It only took us 13 games.
That's all.
Yeah.
I even like you, Mike.
Thank you. It's a club of one. How about this? You made this comment to me as we're watching warm-ups. How strong Jamar Smith's arm is.
It's his release. The ball gets out there with such velocity, and he doesn't have to do anything but flick it outside. And that's a really good thing when you're running this spread offense, and the ball needs to get outside quickly. I really like it. And you know what? When things are rolling and you're playing on the other side of the 50-yard line, you get excited about making plays like that.
Well, he's got a strong arm. He was actually an outfielder the last couple seasons on the baseball team as well at Louisiana Tech. Skip Holtz said, well, we're not quite sure if he's going to continue with that going into next season.
I wouldn't put the glove in the trunk just yet for this spring ball. I can tell you that.
Said he may want to rest up, though, considering he's taken some bumps and bruises along the way this year. Looking very sharp, though, there with just 45 seconds left in the first quarter, and has his team up by 18. Now to the 17 for Braden West. Bowl season rolls on tomorrow night with the Bad Boy Mowers Gasparilla Bowl. It's Frankie Juice, Frank Newtile leading the Temple Owls against 8-4 FIU at the Trop in St. Petersburg. 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on ESPN, ESPN Deportes, and the ESPN app.
How about the Owls, winners of 3 of their last 4 games, and Butch Davis had FIU rolling at 8-4, 104 points in their last 2 games, so should be an offensive performance there by FIU.
Jones for a yard on first down. Yeah, Temple had an interesting season. They went with Logan Marshy, having to replace a lot of experience at quarterback this year. The guy from Connecticut, didn't work out for him. They turned things over to Newtile, and for Jeff Collins in his first year as a head coach, that seemed to be the right choice.
And Jeff Collins really doing a nice job in his first year, bringing excitement to Temple, kind of keeping that toughness on the offensive line and on defense, and that's his specialty.
You know, Twitter was wild today with National Signing Day being early.
That's the end of the first quarter.
Jeff Collins knows how to do it. They had their signing day show on a beach.
It's pretty good if you live in Philly.
I know, especially coming up on Christmas. You get a little sun, a little sand. Things are good. Life is good for the La Tech Bulldogs. A couple of turnovers and a big lead, 21-3 at the end of 1 in North Texas. One of the top 10 scoring teams in the country held to just 3 points in the first quarter, and Louisiana Tech with the lead after 1 here in the DXL Frisco Bowl. You've got Skip Holtz on the left, Sonny Dykes coaching his first game with the Mustangs on the right, replacing Chad Morris, who left 2 weeks ago to become the head coach at Arkansas, replacing Brett Bielema. Mike Cousins along with John Kangemi, Chris Budden down on the sidelines. As it's 2nd down and 9 here for Ben Hicks. An empty backfield. The pocket collapses. He looks for his top target, Cortland Sutton, who had set up nicely along the sideline. And let's go down to the field to check in with Chris.
Mike, an interesting moment during that quarter break. The entire SMU team huddled up on the field. Coach Dykes was actually standing on the outside of the huddle, not saying anything. And it was the teammates on the inside of the huddle, all coaching each other up, trying to get each other going.
John, did you ever have to deal with a coaching change?
I did, but not for your bowl game. You know, it's kind of an unusual situation, so communication vital, especially on the offensive side.
Ball comes loose as Hicks hits the floor, and the ball is quickly recovered by Jacob Todora, getting the start at right tackle today. Nearly a 3rd turnover by SMU.
Well, how about this defense for Louisiana Tech? They've done a great job, and for that first quarter, it was a quarter of wonder, and it continues into the second quarter here with this forced fumble on quarterback Ben Hicks. They forced 2 turnovers. They've got an interception for a touchdown of 45 yards. Special teams kicked in with a 65-yard kick return, and they've scored in the red zone. They've scored on 3rd and goal and 4th and goal, and it looks like, Mike, they're going to get it again with great field position.
Jamie Sackville, the native Australian, gets the punt away. Teddy Veal doesn't want to touch it. He doesn't need to because the ball is down at the 43-yard line where the Bulldogs take over. First drive wasn't great for SMU. It was a fumble by Xavier Jones. Louisiana Tech has turned the turnovers into 14 points. And their average starting field position, the SMU 30.
It's unbelievable. You get teed up at the 30-yard line for Skip Holtz in this offense, and Jamar Smith, their quarterback, has done an excellent job of taking advantage of that. You throw in, they've missed a field goal as well, so the score could even be worse than 21-3.
Here's Teddy Veal looking to throw, and he gives it up for Smith. Nicely designed play, starting with Kraft and then going to Veal, trying to catch SMU off balance.
Mike, that's a perfect example of why quarterbacks throw it and then we don't catch it. Unless it really means something down in the red zone. Because this is a well-designed play by offensive coordinator Todd Fitch. Veal just throws that softball out there. Maybe it was too soft on the outside for Smith to handle. But now he's back behind center in more of a comfortable setting.
Second and 10 off the incomplete pass. And the knee down for George Scott, who makes just his 4th catch of the year.
Well, this is exactly what SMU defensively needs right now. They need a 3-and-out, get the football back, or force a turnover here on 3rd down, get their hands on the football, change the momentum of the game right now because it's all Louisiana Tech.
Play action, 3rd and 11, throwing past the sticks. Teddy Veal the target. By the way, the throw before that with the knee down, anybody who was watching football on Sunday night, Patriots Steelers,
wow,
that's the difference right there, right?
Yeah.
Knee down in one league, you can still keep going. Knee down in college football, you're done.
What a call, what drama at the end of that football game.
That's a very, well, depending on your point of view, that's a very euphemistic way of putting it.
what flavor, what color hat are you wearing? That's right.
Davin Dyer for Trey Quinn. And that settles down at the 11-yard line. Mustangs defense does the job. They'll look to get the offense in full gear on the other side. Time for a look here at who excelled on the line, and it's brought to you by DXL. Hashtag XL Style. He is big, he is strong, he is Justin Waller of SMU.
6'4" and 265 pounds. This is a guy that had 9.5 sacks, 15.5 tackles for loss, leads the country with 3 block kicks. So he can do it all from the defensive end position and pitching in on special teams.
Defense not so much the concern at the moment for the Mustangs, as they've got a 1st and 10 with 12.5 minutes left here in the second quarter, down 21-3, trying to overcome an early bundle of turnovers. Trey Quinn, the junior from Louisiana, on the outside holds it in.
Mike, this is a football team and an offense in SMU that has had 64 plays of over 20 yards or more. That's 5th. Tied for 5th in the FBS. Tonight, they haven't been able to move the football. Only 1 rush over 10 yards, only 1 completion over 20 yards. That must change.
They've mixed it up pretty well, run versus pass. Going here to the sophomore from Texarkana, Texas, Kamen Freeman.
Ball carrier. Tackle made by number 31, Russell Paris. Gain of 3 for SMU.
Ben Hicks, one of the guys that starts this explosiveness on offense, but you get over a 3,000-yard passer. You got 3 guys that are over 1,000 yards. This is just an offense that needs to turn it around.
And they've given it up again. The second pick six for the defense tonight. Darrell Lewis with his fourth interception of the year. Make it 27-3. Ben Hicks had only been picked off 9 times coming into this game, and that number has ballooned tonight.
And he's got 3 tonight in great anticipation. First it was Robertson, and now it's Lewis from the safety position. And it just looks like Hicks is throwing into coverage. Everywhere he looks, he's seeing white jerseys instead of blue jerseys. And that's not a good thing for SMU right now, because they're digging themselves a bigger hole at 27-3.
Some uncertainty coming into this game as far as having a new play caller goes, but like you said, it's not about necessarily the selection of the plays, but rather the execution.
Sometimes as a quarterback, it's the play you don't make. It's the throwaway when you don't like what you see. The last thing you want to do is throw it into coverage, and that's twice that Hicks has thrown into double coverage, and it's gone the other way for 6.
The DXL Frisco Bowl, brought to you by Boost Mobile. K Jewelers, every kiss begins with K. And the Quicksilver card from Capital One. Earn unlimited 1.5% cash back. Every purchase, everywhere.
The numbers have not lied for the Louisiana Tech defense. Darrell Lewis, 38 in white, coming back with a pick 6. 4th interception for him this year. And so far tonight, the Louisiana Tech defense by itself has outscored SMU 14-3. West from the goal line. So a rough night for Ben Hicks, the sophomore quarterback for SMU, who'd only thrown 9 interceptions coming into this one, talking with his new head coach, Sonny Dykes.
Well, he's disappointed, highly disappointed, because this game did not start out the way SMU wanted on offense. On their very first offensive play, Jones loses the football deep in his own end, and Louisiana Tech takes advantage of not only that play, but interceptions, 3 of them on the night. One goes back for a touchdown here, with Robertson going the distance from 45 yards. And then Darrell Lewis, as you mentioned, his 4th of the season, he takes it in for 6 points, and we have a change at quarterback.
On the handoff, Xavier Jones. Hicks still in at quarterback, although a change may be imminent, because during the break we saw Ray Peavy, the transfer from Arkansas, warming up.
He may have to battle his way out, 6 for 12, but the 3 interceptions, the costly mistakes deep in his own end.
He's thrown for just 46 yards tonight. Jones hustling up the sideline and pushed out of bounds by the cornerback, Legarius Sneed. So the 46 yards in the air for Hicks contrasts sharply with the 99 yards of interception returns and 2 touchdowns for the Bulldogs defense.
Frustrating night offensively right now for SMU, and there's only one guy that can change it, and that's the guy pulling the trigger at quarterback.
Is this an intentional design here to go away from the pass for a little bit, perhaps have him build some confidence back out on the field?
Well, I think in the last set of downs, they ran the football pretty well. I thought Jones had a couple of runs. He had 1 for 14. He had another one for over 10 yards. So now they're starting to move the football a little bit more easily on the ground.
That ball comes out ugly, and it's incomplete over the middle of the field. It'll be 3rd and 1. With pressure from Deldrick Canty, the senior defensive end.
Canty was coming in on Hicks, and he looks like that right arm is laboring a little bit. He's going to press the pocket from the wide side of the field and gets that left hand on Hicks's throwing arm. Good pressure from the senior from Baton Rouge. 1 of 5 on 3rd down. You got to find a way to stay on the field if you're SMU.
toss for Freeman. First down, gets it into Bulldogs territory.
Carried by number 13, Tyson Niels. Tackle made by number 24.
Now, normally you would say if you're in this situation, where's Cortland Sutton? Where's the matchup on the outside? Where's Trey Quinn? You want to get the ball to your playmakers, but it looks like they're going to run it again here on first down.
Freeman spins to get a little bit extra yardage. Gain of a pair there for the sophomore. It's a big week here for SMU and a big game at 7-5. Playing in their first bowl since 2012 when they took down Fresno State in the Hawaii Bowl.
Timeout. Timeout on the field.
Hayden Howerton, the left guard, is the injured player for SMU. So it's back to bowl action here by a team built by Chad Morris, now coached by Sonny Dykes. But you go back in their bowl history, 1984 Aloha Bowl against Notre Dame, and then into the dark period, the death penalty, no football in 87 and 88. 09 to 12, a great bowl period for them as well. And now back in bowl action here in the postseason. You can make the analogy, and we're in the holiday season, that SMU at the time that Chad Morris took over after June Jones had many successful seasons and then left in the middle of his last season ultimately, was kind of like the Charlie Brown Christmas tree. It was all the right ingredients, it just needed a little bit of love.
That's right.
He built it back to prominence in the American Athletic Conference.
He really did, and now Sonny Dykes is going to have that opportunity to make that blossom a little bit. You've got players, you have athletes on this team, and for him right now as a head coach, the challenge is learning the talent that he has on offense and defense and special teams and how it fits into the philosophy that he wants to bring. Maybe tweak a little of what they do offensively to fit the players that they have or going to bring in.
Play clock is down to 2, 1-0, and the snap was just a hair late for Hicks.
Start the snap, delay a game, number 8, offense, 5-yard penalty, second down.
And when we chatted with Sonny Dykes, he talked about his year away from being a head coach, being an offensive analyst with TCU, and making sure that when he was going to get back into head coaching, it was going to be the right fit for him. Your personnel is part of that, and he likes what he's got, especially at quarterback here on the hilltop.
Right.
But also with the administration being supportive.
Number 57 and 75 for SMU have to sit out one play. Second down.
And that's especially prevalent for him, where at his last stop as being a head coach at Cal, the athletic director who brought him in left to go elsewhere. The administration wasn't the people who brought him in who supported him. And now he knows that he has that here with SMU.
So important for a head coach in a major conference to be able to have that support from your administration.
Hicks stepping up, looking for a long throw at single coverage, and the pass is incomplete.
That's just terrific coverage by Snead, running stride for stride with Cortland Sutton. We mentioned at 6'4", he has the range, the catch radius, the speed. But watch him press him back. A lot of contact, but that's good coverage. You put him on your hip, and you try to force the receiver to the sideline. We've seen tough cornerback play from Snead and Robertson.
Snead, just a sophomore, is the matchup they want on Sutton because, as you mentioned, the height, but also the physicality for defensive coordinator Blake Baker. He dials up a ton of pressure. It gets to Hicks, and he goes down all the way back at the 37-yard line. And it's Snead who brought the heat.
You mentioned Blake Baker, the defensive coordinator. He's going to bring pressure on third down from the short side. It's just a corner blitz. Snead sneaking up on the line of scrimmage, and he comes right behind one of the linebackers and finds Ben Hicks for another negative play by this Louisiana Tech defense. Great coverage on second down, and then pressure in the pocket for the sack on third down.
in the early race for game MVP so far. I think you've got to give it to the entire secondary of the Bulldogs.
There's 11 guys on that defensive side that deserve it, but you talk about Robertson and Snead, they are playmakers on the edge.
Midway through the second quarter of the inaugural DXL Frisco Bowl, and Louisiana Tech out of Conference USA trying to finish off the year at 7-6, up 28-3. Well, they're helping out for the Progressive Bowl Challenge Cup that's going to go to the conference with the highest winning percentage in the postseason. Already a 4-1 mark for CUSA.
They've done a really nice job in bowl games. How about Lane Kiffin down at FAU?
Oh my goodness.
Putting 50 on the board last night.
They have a good one against Akron last night. This is play number 20 of the game for the La Tech offense, and the first snap that they've taken on this side of the 50-yard line. Their first 19 plays were all in SMU territory. It tells you what kind of a night it's been for Skip Holtz's squad.
It's been a great offensive night. If you're quarterback Jamar Smith, he's probably figuring, looking down the field, what's all that green grass for? It didn't have to go that far for 28 points so far, but the defense has really pitched in and helped that lead, padded that lead.
They've only got 66 yards on offense. Trying to get the train going around the edge with some pulling guards. Jared Kraft takes the carry and a short gain on second down.
If you're Louisiana Tech on offense, you got to say, what are we doing down here? That's a long field. That's a strange area for them to be in. And now in third down, if you flip the script and you're SMU, you need a turnover. You have to be able to shorten the field or score on defense to get back in this thing at 28-3.
Teddy Veal, their top receiver, in motion through the slot. There's a flag down as Smith rolls out, lost it down the sideline, and that ball is caught. Veal hustling up the sideline, lets it float into his arms.
And it looked like a free play because Haley may have been in the neutral zone for SMU.
Offside, defense, number 30. That penalty's declined. The play results in a first down.
Sometimes being aware as a quarterback, you know you've got a free one, so you try to extend the play as long as you can and just heave it downfield. There's the penalty on SMU, 30 to the wide side of the field. He gets a jump, but the awareness of Smith to get outside, to know Veal's going to go in scramble mode. He's short, he's going to go up the sideline deep, and a big play for the La Tech offense.
Goes for 44 yards and gets them back to where they've been most comfortable tonight. And that's in the Mustangs territory now with fewer than 6 minutes left before halftime.
Justin Lawler. Gain of 5 for La Tech.
Everything's going right for Louisiana Tech tonight. Sparked by their defense, offense taking advantage of field position and creating big plays when they have to.
Not to mention with the score in their favor, if they can put some more on the board here, they get the ball to start the third.
Well, it's more pressure here on second down. Look for a big play.
Just one safety. This ball to the end zone. And it's caught. Teddy Veal, touchdown number 2 for the redshirt junior.
Teddy Veal. Touchdown Bulldogs.
Mike, sometimes defenses just can't help themselves. They're trying to disguise the blitz. It's going to be zero coverage. But I think Jamar Smith does a nice job with his cadence. He made SMU show where the pressure was coming from. He knew he had man-to-man coverage with Veal, and it was just pure speed on the go route. That's just good execution by quarterback and wide receiver.
35-3.
Teddy Veal gets behind coverage. He knows what to do on zero coverage. Just run and find the football because Jamar Smith is going to put it right on the money. That guy's got a hot right arm.
I'm Matt Namber. Coming up in the Mercedes-Benz halftime report, Greg McElroy's in the house. Alongside Booger McFarland, they'll break down this dominating performance from Louisiana Tech so far against SMU. Plus, early returns on early National Signing Day. Tom Luginbill, who has been everywhere, will tell you the winners and losers. For now, back to Mike and John. Guys?
All right, thanks, Adnan. It's an interesting day here where you've got a bowl on the same day as early signing day, so that creates an interesting situation for coaches. Skip Holtz probably going to be feeling pretty good right now. For Sonny Dykes, who just took over 9 days ago, his philosophy for signing day was basically, if you want to sign with us, that's great. If you don't, I understand. If you want to meet your position coach, who may or may not be on the staff yet, if you want to get to know me, let's wait and do it in February.
Well, it's a tough situation right now for SMU because Coach Dykes needs to put together a staff. They have to sell the university. They have to sell him as a head coach. And if you want to go home, if you're a Texas kid and want to stay home around the Dallas area, that's what you have to look forward to. You have to be able to get out there and sell yourself.
Kevin Johnson with the return for SMU.
Tough situations really for both coaches today because they couldn't be in their, as some might say, their war room on campus. So you've got to just work with what you got while you're on the road. And sometimes a hotel conference room can be the next best thing.
Well, this is pretty cool. You're looking for the fax machine. I know it's in that room somewhere, but you've got graduate assistants, you've got administrative staff, you've got everybody in this room trying to keep track of that fax machine and who's making a commitment to come play for Skip Holtz and the Bulldogs.
Hicks with the handoff, good yardage on first down. Braden West surges out to the 30-yard line and gains 16. I thought Booger had a pretty good tweet today, actually. He said, I would like to propose a change to the early signing period.
I saw that.
Move it to August and actually make it early. This is West again. So he said, you get all the can't-miss prospects. Did the ball come loose there?
The Romeo on the field is the runner, fumbled the ball before being down. First down, Louisiana Tech.
Oh, boy. Russell Ferris coming away with it, and the turnovers make a bad night worse for SMU.
Well, this just can't go any worse for SMU on offense. West is going to take the handoff. He looks like he secures it fine through the line of scrimmage, but that ball is out. That ball came out. That's a really good job at the point of attack. It looked like Garner, or maybe it might have been Idarga, who stripped the football loose, and Ferris jumps on the opportunity for Louisiana Tech in this defense that has been unbelievable in forcing turnovers tonight.
Season high prior to this game was just 3 against Tulane for the Mustangs. Design run for Smith, who breaks 1 tackle and tumbles down after a gain of 5. So it's 22 of 25 plays tonight for La Tech that have been in SMU territory. That's just under 90%.
And they're going downhill. And what that means is you're inside the 30-yard line. It's a short field all night. And the versatility of Jamar Smith has been on display. He's been able to run the football. He's been able to throw the quick screens. He's been able to throw it down the field and take shots. It's been an easy night on offense for Smith.
R.C. Cox comes up to make the tackle for SMU with 3:45 and counting left here before halftime. 35 points tonight for Louisiana Tech for a team that averages only 29 a game.
And just look at the average start position for La Tech. They're going downhill on a very short field.
It's gotten better. Last time we looked at that number, it was the 30-yard line.
You're right.
Tackle made by number 32, RC
Just work
Cox.
on your red zone, guys, to prepare for your bowl, and let your defense do all the work.
Flag is in and stops the play on 4th and 1.
Offside, number 17, defense, unabated to the quarterback. 5-yard penalty results in a first down.
The linebacker, Jordan Williams, the offender there. So it's inside the 20-yard line. Red zone opportunities, Louisiana Tech scoring 85% of the time in the regular season.
And with 3:10 and counting before halftime, they're going to have a chance to get in again to push this lead even higher.
It's Scott off to the left side. A defense a little dinged up today as well for SMU coming into this game without one of their top corners in Jordan Wyatt, who had knee surgery after getting hurt on the final drive against Tulane. So that is certainly to their detriment, but it's the offense giving it up that's been much more the problem for the Mustangs, down by 32.
You know, for SMU, they're down coaches on the offensive side. They've had the defensive guys trying to help out on the offensive side of the football. So it's been rough sledding this whole week trying to prepare for tonight.
Scott's got it. And he gets grabbed from behind, taken down by the defensive end, Tyson Niels. You get to this point in the game, this point in the field, and up 35-3. Might as well just have fun with it. You know, you face 4th down situations, keep the ball rolling, right?
And let this be the last possession before halftime. You've got 150 and counting. You've got 3rd down and medium. You want that offense to stay on the field.
Smith's got 4 options. He picks single coverage into the end zone, and it's a touchdown, La Tech. Cam McKnight with his 2nd touchdown catch of 2017. This one from 16 yards out.
Mike, we've seen Teddy Veal run by defenders to get into the end zone. This time it's McKnight who uses that 6'2" frame just to outrun Onu and stretch that. He gets vertical in the end zone. He can't get up fast enough. That's just a good hands catch. Secures the football to the ground. And another opportunity that hasn't been wasted by Smith and company.
It was just a few minutes ago we were talking about Lane Kiffin and FAU dropping 50 last night and still churning in the 4th quarter to get there. And the Bulldogs are on pace to well exceed that number with just 1:33 left before halftime. We've got more bowls for you as well. Friday on ESPN at 12:30 Eastern. You've got a pair of 8-4 teams. UAB, how about that story? Taking on Ohio in the Bahamas Bowl. And then hope to see Josh Allen, the very talented quarterback for Wyoming, going up against the Central Michigan Chippewas with both games on the ESPN app.
Well, you talk about UAB and head coach Bill Clark. This is a team that didn't field a football club for the last 2 years, and now they're in a bowl game. That hasn't happened in 13 years. And you're right, I want to see Josh Allen, who's been laboring a little bit for Wyoming at the end of the year. 7-5 record. Wasn't 100% with his throwing shoulder. He's going to play in the bowl game, as some other high-level prospects may decide not to.
Wyoming going to a bowl for back-to-back years for the first time in 29 years. That's been another team that went from very difficult depths, just like SMU, getting back to bowl eligibility.
Tackle made by number 39.
So 1:28 here to play with for SMU. They won the toss, took the ball. So La Tech gets it to start the 3rd quarter. How do you try and play this here with 1:28 to go?
Well, down 42-3. I think if you're head coach Sonny Dykes, you just want to keep going with your offense. You want to get to the locker room, number one. The last thing you want to do is turn the football over deep in your own end.
Hicks looking to be a playmaker. Headlong across the 35, stops the clock with a first down.
That always helps to kickstart a drive before halftime when you get a nice run out to the 35-yard line. Now you've got some operating room. You need to make good decisions from the pocket here.
Well, an awkward-looking throw. He gets it away to his running back, Xavier Jones.
Hicks pass complete to number 5, Jones. Tackle made by number
and now we get a timeout as Sonny Dykes is out onto the field.
That's their first timeout of the half. This will be a 30-second timeout.
And 2 remaining for the Mustangs.
I would imagine, Mike, if you're this offense and you're trying to get into the locker room, you want to be able to finish with points here in your last drive before halftime.
It's an unusual evening for many reasons for Sonny Dykes. First being that this is his first game as the head coach just 9 days after taking this job. But he's also gone up against the school where he was previously the head coach at La Tech. Was at Cal from 13 to 16, a record 11 games under 500. And Rick Hart, the athletic director, tapping him to be the head coach here. So, you know, how many guys go from one job to the next and move not an hour away going from TCU to SMU? Not bad.
Well, it's a good situation for Sonny Dykes. And tonight's first half, the first 30 minutes, you put that aside, he has to look forward to who he's going to get in recruiting. How is he going to stockpile some talent behind some of the guys that are going to be missing off of this roster that went 7-5? So it's nothing but up from here, because this first half has not been what you go to bed dreaming about last night.
Jones looking explosive. That's a first down as they approach midfield with inside of a minute left in the first half.
Tackle made by number 8, Jamarian King. Gain of 6 for SMU.
Very soft coverage on the perimeter as Hicks connects with Sutton.
To number 16, Cortland Sutton.
That's the guy you have to try to get involved in the second half. If you can get him in the end zone before halftime with 46 seconds left, that'd be great. But that's the guy, and Trey Quinn. You got to feed the football to your playmakers here just to get some semblance of rhythm on offense.
Sutton had a great year, 62 catches, over 1,000 yards, and is going to declare after this bowl game for the NFL draft as the number 3 wide receiver prospect for the 2018 draft per Todd McShay. Jones makes the catch again. Wrangled down to the 31. It's another timeout, SMU, with 39 seconds left.
Timeout, SMU. That's their second timeout of the half. This will be the 30-second timeout.
And the reason that this game has been so surprising, not only because it's 42-3, but it's because SMU has not been able to do what it's done offensively all year long. 40 points a game, 8th most in the country, and as you mentioned before, one of 2 teams at the FBS level to have a 3,000-yard passer, a 1,000-yard back, and 2,000-yard receivers. The only other team to do that, Oklahoma State.
Well, it's been unusual. You go into a football game and you're trying to get your playmakers involved with tempo. And this is a team that has scored points. They've averaged over 40 points a game. They've averaged over 6 yards per play. And tonight it's been the turnovers. Anytime you turn the football over early in a game and you can't come back from that, you're going to dig yourself in a deeper hole. And what SMU's done tonight, it's been turnover after turnover that has led to a short field for Louisiana Tech. And give credit to Tech, they've taken advantage of those opportunities and found the end zone.
5 turnovers will make for a lopsided first half. And now 2nd down and 2 after the Mustangs use their penultimate timeout. Single coverage for Quinn along the sideline.
Those are the two playmakers, the last two passes on the outside, Sutton and Quinn. That has to happen for Ben Hicks moving forward in the second half to give himself some confidence to get back in this game.
Quinn, who had just 22 catches in a couple of years at LSU, more than 100 during the regular season. Hicks looked his way, now slings it to the sideline, and it's Sutton there with his feet inbounds to make an acrobatic catch.
That's a heck of a throw because Ben Hicks is off balance and he's able to get the football over Demarion King, who's waiting for another interception on the short sideline. He just steps up, climbs the pocket, and sidearms this thing, changes that arm angle, and gets it over King for a big completion to get the football down to the 9-yard line.
Sutton in the slot. And a throw at the goal line bounces shy of the senior from Indianapolis, Raymond Epps.
Boy, really good pressure in the pocket by Davon Washington. Let's credit Ben Hicks. He stayed away from the sack with 21 seconds left to go before halftime. He's able just to get rid of the football and throw it away.
The defensive coordinator for La Tech, Blake Baker, has had a fun time dialing up pressure tonight against Hicks.
Well, he came into this game saying he wanted to disguise coverage. He wanted to change it up on Hicks and give him some different looks. He's definitely done that through 30 minutes.
Looking to go up top for the grab, and that's exactly what SMU does with its first touchdown of the night into the hands of Trey Quinn.
I don't blame you, Trey Quinn. There's a little frustration coming out in these big play receivers. Both guys in Sutton and Quinn over 1,000 yards this year, both with 12 touchdowns, now make it 13 for Trey Quinn. He goes up and takes the football away from Robertson, who's been on fire for Louisiana Tech in this first half.
That's a tough matchup for a cornerback on either of the top receivers for SMU, whether it's Quinn or Sutton. And the Mustangs certainly hope they have more of that type of action in the second half.
Really good quickness by Trey Quinn. He's the inside receiver on the slot. He's going to run that inside fade. He gains leverage, gives his quarterback a nice window to throw the football over the 5'9" Robertson. And hey, that's just a little frustration of the first half coming out. There's been a lot of talking going back and forth, and if you're Louisiana Tech and has forced that many turnovers in the first half, you deserve to pound your chest a little bit. That scoring drive from the Mustangs, 9 plays, 78 yards, their most impressive drive, obviously, of the first half, and it ends with a touchdown.
The irony on that play is that Robertson, who got beat, the corner, is 5'9". And they said if he was about 6 feet tall, there is no way he would ever be playing in Conference USA. That's how talented he is.
I thought that was a great question you asked. I think it was Blake Baker and maybe even Skip Holtz had the same answer. Said we never get our hands on this guy if he's 6'1", 6 foot, 6'2". But they're happy that the freshman chose Louisiana Tech, and he's been a Conference USA all-freshman team, and you can tell he leads the team in interceptions with 5. He's a playmaker out on the edge.
Texas offered him as a wide receiver. LSU was in on his recruitment late, and it took a full staff visit to his house late in his recruitment period to ensure that he doesn't end up playing his college football in Ruston. All right, well, we got another interesting situation on our hands here because this ball is out near midfield. 9 seconds left, and who knows what can happen tonight with this Bulldogs offense.
Well, they've got a chance to throw one up into the end zone, and that's exactly what the arm strength of Jamar Smith. You've got timeouts remaining. You could get a field goal here before halftime or just take one down the field to Teddy Veal or Cam McKnight.
Smith wants sideline. Too short for Hardy. That took 5 seconds. Now we'll see if there's still the aggression pumping through the veins for one more play.
You know what? Anytime I see a defense do this where they've got 5 or 6 guys that are inside the 20-yard line.
Are you going to tell me it doesn't usually work out well?
No, I'm not going to say that, but I like actually throwing it short and letting 2 receivers or 3 receivers get out in front of the guy who's catching a quick slant over the middle that can run for a little distance, just like this.
Well, they've got some blockers out in front of Hardy. He dances his way inside the 30 and gets steamrolled from behind to bring the first half to a close. Already a season high with 5 turnovers for SMU, with a hometown crowd in front of them. Not far from their Hilltop campus, but La Tech has turned those turnovers into 28 points and leads 42-10 at the half. That's it from Frisco for now. Let's go to Adnan for our halftime report.
You're watching Capital One Bowl Mania.
Welcome back to the DXL Frisco Bowl here in North Texas. Lopsided at the break, 42-10 in favor of the Louisiana Tech Bulldogs over the SMU Mustangs. Turnover is the story in the first half of play as the Bulldogs pounced on many miscues by SMU, a team that in the first 12 games turned the ball over just 13 times, and yet in the first 30 minutes of play gave it up 5 times. 2 of those were pick sixes.
Well, Jamar Smith took advantage of those turnovers and went 9 of 12 for 131 yards and 3 touchdowns. And it's unbelievable the amount of plays that Louisiana Tech's offense has had a short field. It's just incredible. And they've taken advantage of what the defense teed up for them, Mike. So it's good defense that led to execution on offense, and it's been a dominant first half for Louisiana Tech. It all starts with the turnovers, and in the very first play of the game, SMU coughs it up, and now you get a pick on the other side. A lot of indecision by quarterback Ben Hicks. You get a touchdown for 6 by Robertson. You get Lewis pitching in for a pick 6, and then the frustration of Ben Hicks, who's only thrown 9 interceptions coming into the game, and it's been a turnover machine in the first half. That needs to correct itself early in the third quarter.
Last time they turned it over 5 times in a single game. You have to go back to the regular season finale at the Liberty Bowl in Memphis 2 years ago, a game where Paxton Lynch, when he was taking the American Conference by storm, just really ran up the score against SMU in the first half.
Well, I'm sure it was a long halftime for Ben Hicks. He hasn't experienced a game like this. And you're fortunate that it's not game 3 of the season or game 5 of the season. You've gotten a lot of work done to get here, and you have the confidence and the ability to get it done. You just have to turn it around and have guys around you play at a little bit higher level and make sure you make better decisions throwing the football. Put a little bit more value on that.
SMU won the opening toss. So on the return, Jaquise Dancy gets things started for La Tech. And for the first time in this half, we'll go down and check in with Chris on the sideline.
Mike, it was a long halftime, and they used almost every minute of it for SMU. Didn't come out of the tunnel until under 2 minutes left to play. Sonny Dykes telling his team, listen, you don't have to be perfect. Just take it one game at a time. Obviously, wish you could take back the turnover. Said, you know, we can't expect to be back in this game if we continue to turn over the ball. Ben Hicks will be back in at quarterback for them.
We did see in the second quarter, Rafe Peavy, the junior transfer from Arkansas, taking some warm-up throws on the sideline, putting into question whether we'd see Hicks return. Smith covers it up and gets wrapped up out of bounds.
Number 8, Jamar Smith.
Better than 100 carries for him on the year, and a couple of flags come in at the end of the play where he went out of bounds.
Number 4, Tyler Page. Flag on the play.
After the play, a sportsmanlike conduct. Number 8 on the offense. 15-yard penalty, 2nd down.
So the penalty is on Smith, the quarterback.
That must have happened very late in the play. It looked like a couple of players from
First unsportsmanlike conduct foul on the game.
From the Mustangs were trying to rip at the football, and that may have started or agitated Smith on the sidelines. You see the SMU defenders trying to rip the football, and I think it was Onu taking him down to the ground out of bounds. Didn't see the retaliation, but something happened. It might have been a kick when Smith was on the ground.
For the Bulldogs.
Penalties, not much of a speed bump for either team in the first half. Solid pocket, plenty of time to throw, and the pass is caught by Zach Kusar, the redshirt freshman out of Oxford, Mississippi. Just his 3rd catch of the year, and that's a gain of 17.
Boy, they made it look easy, and here comes the tempo from the Bulldogs offense.
Tackle made by number 4, Onu.
Right back to the line, need a short gain for a first down. They got more than they needed. Going back to Boston Scott. Finished off the year strong with a touchdown in 6 straight games to end the regular season. And picked up the load for Jared Kraft, who's the other half of the backfield duo for this team, because Kraft didn't play 2 of the last 3 weeks.
And how about the power from the 5'6" running back? He's running over safeties in the second level.
On first down and 10, no gain. Scott the carry. SMU all over it. And a good comeback at the end of the regular season for La Tech, just to get to 6-6, to get to bowl eligibility. They were picked to win the division for the 2nd straight year. Went into week 12 at 4-6. They had to win out to get to a bowl. They beat UTEP on November 18th. 343 yards on the ground in that game. And then in the regular season finale, beat UTSA. Off to the left side and perhaps off to the races. Scott takes it down the sideline. A huge chunk play for the redshirt senior from Baton Rouge, who's shown his power and there shows his speed.
Well, his head coach, Skip Holtz, likes to call Boston Scott the sizzle in the backfield. He's the sizzle and the speed in this offense, and he's able to go outside for 24 yards there to get Louisiana Tech in great field position.
Smith on a 5-receiver set throws far too long, but at the end of the play, a flag comes in on the pass intended for Woodard.
Might have been some contact by Eric Sutton on the outside against Woodard.
Pass interference. Defense. Number 1. 15 penalty. First down.
That was the case, Mike, going down the SMU sideline. It looked like Eric Sutton, the sophomore corner, he's going to get his hands on Woodard, push him out of bounds. Maybe a good ad-lib by the wide receiver.
Smith certainly not shy to spread it around here. That pass intended for Woodard, who's only caught 2 balls this year. And in this game, we've seen Kusar and Scott, a couple of receivers who have collectively fewer than 5 catches, each with 1. Hardy's got it. Forward to the 10-yard line.
And Mike, this might be a drive to see what the Bulldogs have on offense other than Veal and McKnight. Get a chance in a bowl game up 42-10. Let your starting quarterback deliver to some guys that haven't had a lot of cheddar this year. That should be a horse collar, it looked like, from behind.
Delonte Scott, the defensive end. His tackle leaves Smith down on the turf.
Boy, it sure looked like Scott had his hand inside, or at least on the nameplate of Scott. Of Smith, sorry. This play by Scott. Watch the right hand go up towards the nameplate, grab it down, and pull him from behind. That's a new rule that was installed this year. It doesn't have to be necessarily inside the shoulder pad, but if you're on the nameplate and drag a ball carrier down, that should have been 15 yards.
I agree with you, John. I think it's a missed call. Weston Elliott is in at quarterback here, changing things up on this drive, and he's in to hand it off. Elliott, the sophomore from Texas, in his first year with the Bulldogs after transferring from Blaine Junior College. Only the 4th time that he's seen action this year, just 3 for 6 with a touchdown. So ball between the hash marks, and it's Barnes to try the field goal. Missed earlier in the game from 37 after a first drive turnover for the Mustangs. This one from 28. Second try is good. Makes it 45-10. Jamar Smith checked out on the sideline. Scoreboard looking good.
All ESPN coverage is streaming live on the ESPN app. Download now and take ESPN everywhere.
The chill of a late December evening here in Frisco, Texas. Jamar Smith getting the tent treatment, the quarterback for Louisiana Tech, along the sideline. He got taken down by a horse collar tackle. There was no flag on the play, but it was clear that he was in quite a good deal of pain as he came off the field and ended up getting replaced at the end of the drive by his backup, Weston Elliott.
Yeah, let's hope that Jamar is okay. And with the score 45-10, you may want to get Elliott in the ball game anyway to get some experience.
Kevin Johnson, the return man for SMU. Chris told us that coming out of the locker room, SMU used about all but 2 minutes of its allotted time. It's a 20-minute halftime for this game before they came back out onto the field. It's a new head coach, a guy who's never coached them before. Where do they turn for leadership in a game like this?
Well, it comes from within. It comes from Ben Hicks. It comes from that offensive line. It comes from your playmakers on the outside in Sutton and Quinn. Because as a head coach right now that Sonny Dykes coming into this game, you just got to hope for the best here in the second half, because it can't get any worse than the first half.
Quinn picked up a nice block in front from James Prochet, one of his fellow wide receivers, a guy who transferred from LSU, saw the writing on the wall when the recruiting class came in behind him. He's only 6 feet tall. The guys they were bringing in were 6'3", 6'4", and knew that he was going to have to find something a little bit different, and stretches out at the end of his second straight catch. And boy, did his choice work out pretty well for him.
I think so.
The FBS leader with 106 catches during the regular season.
How about 12 touchdowns? That was tied for 6th in the country with his teammate Cortland Sutton.
Hicks over the middle, intended for Sutton, and incomplete. Brings up 3rd down and 7, SMU.
Some nights as a quarterback, your eyes betray you. And I think today and tonight, Ben Hicks was seeing a little bit more of the pressure than he should have. And his eyes weren't taking him to the easy throws. That time he had Jones in the flat right away. He passed it up, and then he made a bad throw down the middle.
Stepping up under pressure, and he's taken down again. Jalen Ferguson, with his team leading 7th sack of the year, helps bring the drive to a close.
That's good defense from front to back. I mean, the coverage is there. It makes Ben Hicks hold the football, because initially you step up and you think you have some time, but Jalen Ferguson, he closes the deal for the Bulldogs.
First team all-conference defensive end who's got another year left in his career. Great pressure there on the punt block team as that sails out of bounds inside the 35-yard line from Jamie Sackville. 45-10 our score inside of 9 minutes left in the third at the DXL Frisco Bowl.
The DXL Frisco Bowl, brought to you by PlayStation Vue. Watch the biggest moments in sports. Try it free today at Walmart. Rock this Christmas with Walmart.
Glad you're with us tonight here in Frisco, Texas, the inaugural DXL Frisco Bowl, and it has been all Louisiana Tech, forcing 5 first-half turnovers by SMU, and the Bulldogs 6-6 in the regular season, lead at 45-10. Mike Cousins, John Kajemi, with Chris Button down on the sidelines tonight. Mustang showing blitz off the corner, and here it comes. Great read as the throw goes to Hardy, eludes the first defender, and a strong tackle has him at a first down to the 45. Gain of 11 on the throw from Jamar Smith, who, Chris, despite having some inconsistencies with his offensive line, had a pretty good relationship with his quarterback's coach.
He did. Tim Rattay has really helped him in his development, and the way that they've gone about this is each week they'll take one fundamental. It'll be footwork. The next week it'll be his eyes. The next week it'll be his arm motion, and they'll focus on that one fundamental throughout the entire week. He said that's really helped the kind of slow down the process and really work on things one by one.
Well, he's put it all together tonight, Chris, that's for sure. And I think he's grown as a quarterback. We talked about the struggles in the offensive line, not having that continuity in front of him. But in the last 3 or 4 games, it's been solid up front. And I think his play has been reflective of that. And it's a great relationship. Anytime you have a guy with the experience of Tim Rattay, playing at the highest level, coming in for a young quarterback and trying to mold him into what he can be, with the best that quarterback can be. And with the traits that Jamar's displayed, the quick release, the good recognition and quick feet, he has a bright future ahead.
They certainly like having Rattay in the program as a guy who played at this school and also spent 8 years in the NFL.
Well, Jamar's made great decisions tonight, and he's been afforded excellent field position. He's been able to get into the red zone and deliver the football outside quickly. Here to Teddy Bill, just on a simple screen to the outside, gets a good block. On man-to-man coverage, it's 0, nobody in the back end. He's able to throw just a perfect pass away from the defender. So it's been good protection, but great execution by Jamar Smith.
John, you mentioned 0, meaning the number of safeties over the top being none, and that's something that the coaches for La Tech saw a lot on film, and SMU hasn't done as much tonight as they usually did during the season, but when they've exploited the mismatches, the Bulldogs have ended up with touchdowns.
Well, that's what coordinator Todd Fitch told us. They have to take advantage of opportunities down the field when it presents themselves.
And almost did right there as Deshaun Oliver tried to make a one-handed grab in the end zone. That would have been a highlight reel play.
That's absolutely. Jamar giving his wide receiver Oliver a chance to go up and make a play in the end zone. And they've made their share of good catches on the outside. This one almost a one-hand beauty.
They get right back to the line, give it to Boston Scott, the running back, for a first down. Like I said earlier, you can see a little bit of what they're doing on offense here is giving it to some of the underutilized guys throughout the year. Oliver with the target there. He's only caught 8 passes this year.
Yeah, in that drive before, we talked about Scott and Kuzar and guys like that on the outside that are getting into the rhythm of the offense in this second half.
Flag down as we're inside of 6 minutes left here in the third quarter.
Offside, defense, number 35, 5-yard penalty, replay, first down.
During bowl season, have an idea. If you want to keep up with every single bowl, you can go multiple screen with the ESPN app on your computer, your phone, your tablet. You can stream every ESPN and ABC college football game live at home or wherever you are. Scores, news, and highlights for all the bowl games, and you can download the app to start streaming now.
And Mike, that usually gets us from game site to airport, in the plane, and back home.
Or once you get to this time of the year and you get weather delays at the gate.
That's right.
Consistent entertainment. It's Kraft, one of the 2 senior running backs. He was real quiet down the stretch. Didn't play 2 of the last 3 weeks. Just 1 carry for 15 yards against UTSA in the regular season finale. And his run continues this drive and sets up the Bulldogs for their 35th play of the night in SMU territory.
And this is where they've executed the best. Once the ball's been inside the 20 in the red zone, they've been able to come away with touchdowns.
That time nothing doing it. Defensive disruption coming through and blowing up the running play. It's Tyson Niels, the sophomore out of Oklahoma, with the tackle. Sends him backward. It'll be 2nd down and about 13.
If there's a couple players that have really stood out for one reason or for positive reasons on the defense, it's been Niels been one of those guys. Junior college transfer, not a flashy player, says his defensive coordinator Van Malone, but he makes plays behind the line of scrimmage.
Empty backfield for Smith to the end zone. And just too long. If he took a little bit off, he would have had Teddy Veal for his 3rd touchdown catch of the evening.
When that's one Jamar would love to have back. I think he saw a blue jersey flash to his left and maybe rush the throw just a touch. But when you're that wide open, you got to be able to hit Teddy Veal. Because even if you get it close, that's going to be 6 points.
He knew. Van Malone in an interesting spot, defensive coordinator here for SMU. Time to throw. Smith, capable runner, flag down. Heaves to the end zone, incomplete. This flag likely going to be against the Bulldogs. Van Malone's defense hoping to get off the field here after the penalty call.
Replay, 3rd down.
Well, he's the elder statesman of the coaching staff right now, with a good chunk of the offense having gone to Fayetteville with Chad Morris, the departed head coach who went to take the head job at Arkansas. So you've got a lot of GAs in control on the offensive side, and he said, I made the walk down the hall to say, guys, look, you got to step up here. We need you.
There's nobody behind you. And even Van went on the offensive side of the football to try to help out the offensive line and get some cohesion at practice.
3rd down, 23. Tip ball could have been dangerous, and the pass ends up incomplete. A little bit of chatter after the play. Cam McKnight, who's already caught a touchdown. Right now, 4th and 23. So for Malone, that's an awkward spot.
It is.
Because you don't know what the future of your job status is. I think he handled it very well, though, and answered the question very candidly, because he said that the only conversation he's had about his future with Sonny Dykes was to say, let's talk about it after the game, focus on the kids for this time.
Right, let's try to get the guys prepared as best we can. I'll do it on defense. I'll help out on offense. I'll do whatever I can, whatever it takes to get the best interests of these student athletes first and foremost.
Barnes from 43. Some serious hang time on that ball, but it gets the job done. Bulldogs expand their advantage, 48-10 in the 3rd. Louisiana Tech another field goal to go up 48-10 over SMU here at the DXL Frisco Bowl at Toyota Stadium, which come the turn of the new year will also be the host to the FCS championship game. Number 1 meets number 2. The defending champions James Madison, a perfect 14-0 against North Dakota State. You just saw those guys.
You know what? It's going to be a great matchup. North Dakota State, they don't lose much in the last 5-6 years, but when they did, it was last year in the semifinal to James Madison.
The Bison won 5 straight national championships from 2011 until 2015. So last year, a bit of a surprise at the FCS level with the way the championship trophy turned out.
I know the people in Frisco are excited about that game. It sounds like it's standing room only.
Yeah, it's already a sellout for a game that's not until January 6th. Now, Ben Hicks in this offense, just one touchdown tonight, and it was to Trey Quinn, a nice leaping grab over top of Amik Robertson. That touchdown for him was his 52nd career touchdown, which now gives him the most in SMU history. Braden West running on first down. So he surpasses Justin Willis, who played for the Mustangs from 2006 to 2008. Keep in mind, here's a guy who's just a sophomore.
Not the night he wanted, but he didn't have a whole lot of help on that offensive side.
And a big jump for him production-wise through the air as well. Trey Quinn, a huge part of that because he's had Cortland Sutton with him for as long as he's been on the Hilltop. 33 touchdowns now, the most in a single year at SMU, following up on a season last year where he threw 19. That ball thrown
Boy, that was close.
Incomplete.
Yeah.
Kamen Freeman coming out of the backfield.
Freeman did a good job of just getting on the football in case that was called a lateral.
And the body language from Hicks,
yeah,
it emanates his frustration.
It's one of those nights where it didn't start off well and it got worse. And I think the players around Ben Hicks, they shut it down for a little while, and now they're trying to get some points on the board as this second half progresses. But the rhythm and the timing and the continuity of the offense, with all the coaches being gone on that side of the football, just wasn't there tonight for the Ponies.
He faked the toss to Freeman and then eventually did have to check down to him. Not what they wanted to do, third down, so they've got a punt here, but 2:45 left in the third quarter. Teddy Veal set to return, see if he can add to his big night. Already a couple of touchdown grabs, but he takes the fair catch back at the 28-yard line. Let's check the Progressive Ball Challenge Cup, which is going to go to the conference with the highest winning percentage in the postseason. Conference USA at 3-2. And if this score holds, barring a massive comeback from SMU, that will go to 4-2 on the year.
I think they're pretty secure in moving that digit from 3 to 4. The way this game has gone at 48-10, it's been all tech all night. And that defense has really done a great job shutting down such an explosive offense from SMU.
Quarterback body language, quite different from one side to the other.
You don't need a score. You just need pitchers to tell you who's in the lead right now.
Flags come in, delay a game.
Delay a game. Number 8, offense. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
This was a bit of a transition year as well at quarterback for Skip Holtz. This is the first full season for Jamar Smith, starting his 13th game today, but it ended a string of 3 straight years where they had a senior starter, whether it was Cody Sokol, who transferred from Iowa, or Jeff Driscoll from Florida, and then Ryan Higgins, who was the quarterback last year and led them to a bowl game win. And still showing off that strong arm, his throw right to the sticks as he hooks up with George Scott for the second time tonight.
Well, he throws a pretty pass, and it doesn't matter if it's a screen pass or it's a deep dig route down the field. The ball comes out on time, and he has the athletic ability and that quarterback clock to be able to escape pressure and extend plays.
And you really get the sense tonight that you're watching this team at its highest capability after how many injuries they dealt with this year. Skip Holtz citing the number that they missed 120 games due to injury during the regular season. It's a loss on first down for Kraft.
Well, you mentioned the injuries, and that played a big role in the up and down season, I think, for Louisiana Tech, especially on the offensive line, where you've got different combinations through 6, 7, 8 weeks of the season. You finally get some rhythm where you're starting 5 with regularity over the last 4 weeks, and you find a way to a bowl game, and then you get an explosion here of 48 points through 3 quarters.
Smith tried to be elusive and could not escape the grasp of the native Hawaiian Pono Davis.
This is the time of the game where if you're a head coach, you really, on either side, if you're Louisiana Tech, you want your guys to keep executing. You don't want them to fall asleep. You don't want them to miss an assignment due to taking a false step or hand placement up front. And on the other side, you're happy to see Davis penetrate on second down.
Good pocket and a strong throw, but the pass incomplete. Would have been short of the first down marker anyway for Javonte Woodard. And 14 seconds left in the third. The Bulldogs will punt.
You can tell that Sonny Dykes is trying to get a read on his defense. That's been a couple of successful defensive stands, getting the football back. He's trying to see who's playing and who maybe packed it in, kind of register some notes on some players for future games and for spring ball.
Dyer's kick, a fair catch by Quinn at the 28-yard line. On Friday, December 29th, it's the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic from AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas, not far from here. Sam Darnold and number 8 USC against JT Barrett and the number 5 Ohio State Buckeyes. Teams that feel like they're right on the edge, could have gotten in and left out. This one will be a good one. 8:30 Eastern, 5:30 Pacific. And a great quarterback matchup as well.
It is, both led by guys that have done it in different ways. Sam Darnold from the pocket, strong thrower, and Barrett, what a comeback after the knee injury and surgery, and leads the Buckeyes to that Big Ten championship.
3 quarters in the books here in Frisco. Good night for Louisiana Tech, up 48-10 with 15 minutes to play. On their way to finishing off the season at 7-6, the defense has been the star of the show. The Bulldogs have certainly been good dogs.
Watch me do this. Since 2012, I've been the coolest. If you do not get it, you're foolish. That's what they are when we come around.
My left stroke just went viral. Got power, poison, pain, and joy inside my DNA.
Well, it's good to be Kendrick Lamar. It's good to be a college football playoff fan as well. They'll both be there, the halftime performer for this year's CFP title game. 48-10 our score as we welcome you back here to Toyota Stadium in Frisco, Texas, just north of Dallas. Mike Cousins, John Kajemi, and Chris Budden on the sidelines as well. This first down throw from Hicks goes too tall to the sideline. Let's go down to the sideline and check in with Chris.
Mike, this is an emotional day for Cortland Sutton as he plays his final game in a Mustangs jersey. He just came off on the sidelines, went around, thanked all of his teammates, took his gloves, handed them to a fan in the stands, and then bent over and was wiping tears from his eyes. I spoke to him earlier this week about what this moment would mean, and he said, you know, when you go to college, you think it's going to be so easy to make a bowl game, and it's not. So just to get here and cap off this season in this way has meant a lot to him.
to be able to help build this program from what it was when he got here and now to being back into a bowl game for the first time since 2012. Certainly not the way he would envision his career coming to an end, but this is far from the last football game he'll be playing.
No, he's going to be playing on Sundays, and it's remarkable the career that he did put together. He came into the game among the active FBS career leaders in receptions and in touchdowns at 31. That's third among active players. So what a career he's had at SMU.
Also really cool that he ended up getting his degree in 3.5 years as well. Took piano his final semester. Played Lean On Me for his final exam.
Man has skills.
Got a lot of people leaning on him on this team.
That's right.
An emotional month of December for many reasons for SMU. For more on that, here's Chris Budden.
Earlier this week, and Chad Morris told me that it was a lot more emotional than he expected. When he told his team, he told me, quote, "I bawled, cried like a baby. These young men, I knew they'd be hurt, they'd be mad, they'd be disappointed, and I didn't know what to expect. I was prepared for anything, and I got a standing ovation. They thanked me and hugged me. We're not finished yet." That was my message to them. So while he was getting ready for National Signing Day with Arkansas, he was still processing what it would be like to be away from the team. He said he would sit down and watch it tonight, though.
Chris, when you talked to him, what did you feel like was, I know you're over the phone, but his facial expression at the time, was it pained or happy, or how did you feel like he was on the phone?
I think he was still confused on how to process the emotions because he still felt like he was abandoning them, especially everything that he had brought this team to. He talked to me what it was like to have that feeling to bring these guys to a bowl game when they had never experienced one before. So the elation of that, but then not getting to share it with them. You know, it's a great job for him at Arkansas, and he's excited for what they're starting there. But then how do you process just sitting back and watching it on TV? I've covered other coaches who won't even watch their former teams, but he said he would watch.
That's really cool that you know how special it is to him and how much it really means. And you can't pass up an opportunity like that for a coaching job in the SEC West, where the average salary is probably $4.5 million a year.
I think it always goes a little bit better for the coach because he's going to meet new people and he's going to a new opportunity and somewhere where the expectations are greater. And for the players, it's a lot slower to process because they're left behind waiting to see what's next for them.
Smith off the back foot finds Cam McKnight, who stretches out short of the first down marker. There's uncertainty on both sides, but for the players, it could mean you're not really a focal point of a new system when a new head coach comes in.
Yeah, things change with the new system and a new head coach, and looks like SMU may have called a timeout here.
With the offense, perhaps unexpectedly, staying on the field on 4th down and 1, up 48-10. See if that holds when we come back to Texas.
The DXL Frisco Bowl, brought to you by DXL, the destination for men's XL apparel.
Louisiana Tech in control as they have been since play number 1. Literally, that is not hyperbolic. A turnover on the first play tonight for SMU, and it's been all Bulldogs all night, 48-10. As they've got a 4th down here. It was a timeout SMU. They keep the offense on the field despite leading by 38. So now alternating timeouts.
I think it's time to work on everything you've got on your playlist, and that was the fake snap, and now you're going to go out and send your special teams unit out to punt the football away.
We invite you to stay with us after the game. ESPN 3, immediately following the conclusion, we'll have our trophy ceremony presented by Capital One. The only question now is not who will get the trophy, but who will hoist the trophy first for Louisiana Tech.
Boy, if it's my decision, it might be somebody on that defensive side of the football. They sparked this team to 48 points in that first half with a couple of pick sixes and pressures and strip fumble opportunities that turned into points for Jamar Smith and company.
Dyer, another Australian native punter like Sackville on the other side, as this one rolled down to the 11-yard line. John, as we were talking about just before the last break there, was changing head coaches, changing systems, how sometimes it can be a little bit harder for the players because when a new head coach comes in, a lot of times it's a new offensive system. As a power spread under Chad Morris, it'll be an air raid under Sonny Dykes.
Well, when your quarterback's not on, the air raid gets exposed because it's quarterback heavy. It depends on spreading guys out and getting quick passes down the field, and you want to spread the defense from sideline to sideline, and it's not a very complex run game. With the power spread, it's for coaches that want to be able to run the football a little bit more, some play action so you can get the defense looking in at the line of scrimmage and get the ball over their head. So a little bit more complex in the power game that SMU had coming into this year and now going to the air raid probably next season.
Ball on the ground. Hicks quickly gets back on top of it. And so there's not a huge gap in terms of what they want to do. They still want to be able to move the ball in big chunks. But the difficulty is it's a new dictionary.
Well, it's new language. And the first thing you need to do is be able to hold on to the football and possess it, because Ben Hicks has had a problem throwing it down the field, and they're on the shotgun snap. But you're right, Mike. You want to be able to do different things in the offense and get rid of the football with a little bit more quickness in shorter spaces.
And that's part of what Sonny Dykes has had to adjust to in replacing Chad Morris in the 9 days since he's taken over as head coach, was just watching film and saying, okay, well, when I say X, what does that mean in your language, and figuring out exactly what his desires play calling wise would equal in the current playbook.
Good ad-lib there by Ben Hicks to try to move the change and stay on the field, but it's going to be another punting situation and more frustration for that SMU offense.
It hasn't been in the cards for them tonight. They fumbled on their first play, turned it over as Xavier Jones coughed it up. Their third play picked up 22 yards, and that's been their biggest gain of the night. La Tech will get it back. 10:40 on the clock. It's the inaugural DXL Frisco Bowl here at Toyota Stadium in Frisco, Texas, the home of FC Dallas. A soccer pitch turned football field tonight. Louisiana Tech has taken advantage 48-10, and bowl season continues tomorrow night on ESPN with the Bad Boy Mowers Gasparilla Bowl. The Temple Owls, also out of the American Conference, and the FIU Panthers at the Trop in St. Pete, Florida. 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on ESPN, ESPN Deportes, and the ESPN app.
First bowl game for FIU since 2011 for Butch Davis and their crew.
Veal with a couple of touchdown grabs, has a first down, shakes 2 defenders and takes this inside the 30-yard line. Teddy Veal, Conference USA Newcomer of the Year, goes for 34.
Teddy Veal is not finished. There's 10:24 and counting on the clock, and he's going to make moves on that SMU sideline. That's just a great job with the ball. Run after catch opportunity and a big play, another explosive play for Louisiana Tech. 5 receptions for 118 and 2 touchdowns.
Tipped and incomplete. So for Veal, that's the 4th 100-yard game for him this season, as the leading receiver during the regular season as well for La Tech.
Well, it's fun when you've got a guy like Teddy Veal on the outside. Jamar Smith, he can pick that guy and let it fly. And you have complete trust in that relationship from quarterback to wide receiver.
Empty backfield, just a three-man rush, but a perfect play call defensively for Van Malone. JT Williams wraps up Smith.
Really good recognition by Williams, the senior from Denton, Texas. Looked like it was going to open right up on that quarterback draw from Smith up the middle, and Williams, all 285 pounds, found the quarterback. It's got to be a frustrating night on offense, but for defensive coordinator Van Malone, he's tried everything. He's tried pressure, he's tried zone coverage, but they've played on a very short field tonight, that defense.
They nearly got to Smith a couple of times before he's rushed out of bounds. 3rd and 11, though. He didn't get enough for the first down. Not as though it was a prolific offensive first half for La Tech, though. So the defense holding up to some degree, but a lot of turnovers. And the player down for SMU at the end of that play is Dimrick Gary, the sophomore out of Dallas.
Well, you're right. Louisiana Tech didn't have to go far for their points. Took advantage of the turnovers provided by their defense and put the ball in the end zone. Good night for Jamar Smith, Teddy Veal and company, Boston Scott in the backfield.
When we talked to Van Malone yesterday, you really got the sense, you know, when you talk to people and they tell you something and you can just read right away whether it's the truth or not. He was very emphatic about, I've been with these kids for 3 years. I know what we want to do to finish this year strong. Look, I'm not worried about today, at least. I'm sure there's something in the back of the mind that says, okay, where's my career going to be going after this year? But wanted to finish out the year strong for the kids who he's been with and brought up through the program.
Well, I think it meant a lot to him. You could tell, you're right, Mike, through his voice and his passion about the commitment he made to the university and to coaching the defensive side of the football for SMU as the injured player, Gary, gets off the sideline. But you can hear it in Malone's voice, and he's going to fight his way through the last 9:06, 9:07 of this game and get to that decision when it comes tomorrow.
Try from 41 yards for Barnes. Hits the upright and falls through.
And it's good.
The odds of that are not great, but it has been La Tech's night. Their lead at the half was 42-10, and they've only grown it since. Skip Holtz, Sonny Dykes, and in this case, it's like father, like son. Two guys who have established themselves pretty well in the college football coaching profession, following in the footsteps of their famous fathers.
Pretty cool when you can do that. And I had the pleasure of playing against Lou Holtz when he was a coach at Notre Dame, and Spike Dykes, all the great things he did in his career, and guys that talk about your coaches, you know, to this day. That's when you know you've got created a great relationship, and I'm sure both of those guys did with their players.
What was the allure like of playing against Notre Dame at that time?
Well, I think it's, you know, it was special because you grew up on Notre Dame football, watching the highlights and Lindsey Nelson and all that stuff, and Notre Dame was on TV every week, no matter what. So it was pretty cool. Going in to play at Notre Dame Stadium was probably one of the best places I've played.
We've got more college bowls for you Friday on ESPN. Starts at 12:30 Eastern. A couple of 8-4 teams. UAB takes on Frank Solich's Ohio Bobcats in the Bahamas Bowl. Oh, tough assignment there.
Yeah.
And then Josh Allen is hoping to play for Wyoming as they take on Central Michigan, both games on the ESPN app.
Thought this was pretty cool. How about UAB's head coach Bill Clark? He was born in 1968. That's when Frank Zolich, the head coach of Ohio, was in his 3rd year of coaching high school football in Lincoln, Nebraska.
That's been a pretty high-scoring offense in Athens, Ohio this year as well for the Bobcats, 14th in the country at 39 points a game. It's probably that Central Michigan-Wyoming game. You're looking at the last games of the collegiate careers for both of those quarterbacks.
That's right.
For the Chippewas, the former Michigan quarterback, the lefty Shane Morris, and then Josh Allen, a guy who stands 6'5", 233 pounds. Is going to be likely one of the top quarterbacks taken in the 2018 NFL Draft.
Tackle made by number 30.
It'll be interesting to see as the careers go on for both Jamar Smith and Ben Hicks, both younger quarterbacks trying to lead their teams to greater pastures next season. Louisiana Tech trying to get over 6 wins, and then SMU with trying to improve on a 7-5 mark, probably going to 7-6 after this one.
Hicks fake walking away, and West has the carry with a flag down at the end of the play.
Tackle made by number 91.
There is no foul on the play. Results in a first down.
With 7:35 to go here in the 4th quarter from Frisco, Texas.
SMU ball spotted at their 32-yard line, 1st and 10 for the Mustangs.
So for as much as we won't see Cortland Sutton down the stretch here, a guy who's a for sure 1st-round pick come the draft, even with a blowout lopsided against them, Hicks keeps the reins here. Part of this, you think, an audition for his new head coach?
Well, I think it's an evaluation in how he's going to play against adversity. You know, things aren't going very well tonight for Ben Hicks. He's given the football up on multiple occasions. He's been under duress. He's had to take some hits. And let's see how he finishes when the road's a little bumpy, because as a quarterback, things aren't always perfect. So I credit Ben's toughness and sticking it out and his willingness to want to finish this football game.
Number 27, Marcellus Johnson, ball carrier. Tackle made by number 39, Randy Hogan. Gain of 3 for SMU.
Johnson on the carry. He lost it. Hicks quickly in on the pile.
It looked like Tedora may have gotten on that football, Mike.
That's the 2nd fumble he's recovered.
That's right.
He's getting the start at right tackle, the redshirt freshman from right here in Frisco, replacing the normal starter Bryce Wilds, who's out tonight. Bulldogs show blitz from the outside. They bring the pressure. Ball is loose again. And this time it's picked up by La Tech. Eric Kenzer, the defensive end, native of Texas, falls on top of it. The football has been magnetic toward the white jerseys.
This defense has been spectacular, and that was just a quarterback running back exchange problem, and Kenzer looked like he was one step away from going the distance. I believe that's 6 turnovers on the evening for SMU.
They had 13 turnovers in 12 regular season games, and the most they gave it up in total in one game was 3 this year.
Well, it was frustrating for SMU offensively. You have to credit Louisiana Tech. They came into this game taking the football away, and they continued tonight.
And now it's Weston Elliott at quarterback for La Tech, signaling we've likely seen the last of Jamar Smith for the evening, with a 41-point lead and fewer than 5 minutes to play here at the DXL Frisco Bowl. Elliott played in just 5 games at Blinn Junior College last year and is in just his 4th this year, having only thrown 6 passes coming into the night. Certainly expected to be a run-heavy set of opportunities here. Israel Tucker gets the toss.
No matter who's at quarterback for Louisiana Tech, they've had great field position, and it's all been set up by this defense the entire night. You have a couple of pick sixes, you get another interception, a couple of strips. We had a fumble, forced fumble on the first play from scrimmage, and that really set the wheels in motion in this lopsided score.
So they empty out the backfield for Elliott, and he almost had that one getting sent the other way, and Mikhail Onu had it right in his grasp.
You said Mike, Onu almost had this going the other way. He had 2 hands on the football. Can't believe he didn't come down with it. It kind of caps off the evening for SMU.
An injured Bulldog offensive lineman, and it looks like a cramp in the right leg. Jamar Smith, an easy choice for our Capital One Player of the Game, accounting for 4 touchdowns and tying the school bowl record for La Tech, with this being their 10th bowl game since moving into Division I in 1975.
We did a nice job of protecting the football, number 1, and he just took advantage of instant field position that was set up by their defense. I think Cody Russey, the starting center for the Bulldogs, right leg injury coming off. It's like he's trying to get off on his own power.
And he's got a lot of it.
Yeah.
Guy who's from Burleson, Texas, set the Texas high school record by deadlifting 715 pounds.
That's a pure definition of a power lifter, right? How about that?
Meanwhile, my lame workout, I'm having to pick up a 75-pound kettlebell 10 times. He's going to get a drink, take a seat. And the offense goes back to work with 3:50 to go in the game. And an empty backfield again. Flushed out of the pocket. And throws to the sticks on 4th down and 10 with a flag to boot.
There is no foul to play. The ball crossed the line of scrimmage.
Well, make sure you stay with us here on ESPN. SportsCenter comes your way after the game. And on ESPN3, it's the trophy presentation as well. Alabama Clemson, a motivational message from Dabo Swinney. The Rockets are hot. And Ezekiel Elliott will be back on Sunday for the Cowboys after his suspension. And wait until you find out on SportsCenter tonight what happened at the Dean Dome in Chapel Hill. A little basketball intrigue for you to mix in with college football on a Wednesday night.
Doesn't sound like it's good for the home team.
And they've been one of the best teams in the country this year. Had a nice matchup against Tennessee last Saturday. They trailed for the majority of that game and came back to win in front of a sellout crowd at Thompson Bowling Arena.
Timeout. Official timeout.
Now we've got another injured Bulldog. Well, you look at the score, and this may not be our final, but it'll be close. And this game is quite a relief for Skip Holtz and company with how many close games they played and how many didn't go their way this year. Jamar Smith helped them start to finish. Teddy Veal, his top target, with a couple of scores.
Taking advantage of excellent field position, he just dealt the football to his playmaker on the outside. That was Teddy Veal. Whether he was catching it on a screen or versus man-to-man coverage, here to McKnight, going climbing the ladder, it was all Jamar Smith all night, and he was feeling the rhythm that quarterbacks like to get into. Good field position, execution in the pass offense, and score a lot of points, and it's 51-10. And I'm sure Smith's going to enjoy this one.
To not have to worry about playing in a close game, 1-4 in 5 one-possession games this year. They almost beat South Carolina, lost to them on a last-play field goal at the end of the game against UAB, a blocked field goal. Southern Miss, late scores, won in double overtime. And then they give up a fourth-quarter lead against North Texas as well. So a lot of games that they felt like they could have had and wouldn't have had to worry down the stretch, needing wins in the final 2 weeks of the regular season.
They found a way to get bowl eligible in those last 2 weeks, and I'm sure Skip Holtz, you know, it was one of those things they said keep banging the rock. That was their motto all year, because they didn't want to let one of those tough losses turn in to next week and let one loss turn into 2 and then into 3. So they kept at it, and they kept their focus each week trying to get to 1-0, and they found themselves here in the DXL Frisco Bowl, and looks like they're going to go to an easy victory.
Second down and 3, and a good push.
Number 31,
and that's enough for a first down for Merrick Pierce. The other cool part of playing in this game is getting a chance to be around the Dallas Cowboys practice facilities as well for these guys who stay in a nice hotel. You eat a lot of good food. You come here, you're certainly going to eat some barbecue. And as we got to see the Cowboys practice facility last night as well, as you'd expect, it's a world-class facility.
Absolutely. From start to finish, that building is spectacular. That whole complex at the Star.
Now, we walked through there last night, and we got to go through the cafeteria. Unfortunately, it was closed. That was the part that I was the most interested in, is what's the spread look like every day?
Park yourself downstairs and have a little bite to eat, huh?
Isn't that why you got into sports media, is for the free food?
Oh, yeah. If I'd have known that way back when, I should be 175 pounds.
2nd and 3 for the Mustangs.
Number 27, Marcellus Johnson, ball carrier.
Clock stops, 1:52. The third injured Bulldog on this drive.
Number 27, Marcellus Johnson, ball carrier.
But look out. It's a chilly night. That's all right when it's Jamar Smith, your quarterback, to bring the cooler full of water on top to celebrate a bowl win. It's been great bowl success for Skip Holtz at the helm of the Bulldogs. You know, he's been all around this area with his bowl games. A winner, the Heart of Dallas, the New Orleans Bowl, the Armed Forces Bowl, and now here in the first year of the DXL Frisco Bowl, they'll be winners as well.
Does pretty well in the state of Texas.
Well, they mentioned both Coach Holtz and Coach Dykes sitting down yesterday to talk before everything got underway today, just about how important this game was. They announced a home-and-home series that's going to start in 2021 between these two schools, but to be able to get over here for La Tech from Ruston, Louisiana, this is a big area that they recruit.
4-hour drive, I believe it is, and, you know, talking with Skip, he likes where his football team is at. He liked the toughness they've shown, and for Coach Dykes, they've got some work to do in terms of finding the identity of what he wants to do on offense and getting the players in his system going forward. It all started today with signing day, and it's going to continue throughout February to try to stockpile some talent on that roster.
When you were deciding between schools and you had a lot of good options laid out for you, eventually choosing Pittsburgh, would you have wanted this early opportunity to sign?
I don't think so. Not the way it played out for me. I think every player is probably different. I think that I had narrowed it down, but I used the last couple of weeks to really find my way to Pitt.
After the injury, first down and 10. And a pickup of 5, maybe 6 for Pierce. La Tech will finish this season 7-6. Get the trophy here and continue their string of bowl success from 2014 all the way here through 2017. And look at those high-scoring games. This year, came into this game averaging 29 points a game. They had 42 at the half. And they've tacked on 9 here in the second half on 3 field goals.
You know, talking before the game, I kind of felt that SMU had the potential to score a lot of points. They're averaging over 40 points a game, being able to rely on Hicks and the combination on the outside. But I just think that the flux on offense with the lack of coaches and preparing for the game and having some continuity issues, and then the turnovers were the big story early. You know, I don't care who's coaching you. When you turn the football over, good chance you're not going to win or not be successful, and that's what happened to SMU tonight.
You got a nice rundown inside the 15-yard line down near the 10, 45 seconds to go. You look forward, what's the next step here for a head coach who's been in place just 9 days? What are the things he needs to check off his list coming up?
Well, I think you hit delete on this game. First of all, that's the first thing you do. And you go back and you try to evaluate the tape at certain positions. Where are you strong? Where are you weak? Where do you need to fill in? And what is your system going to be on offense? And recruit to that system.
What's the urgency, or how quickly do you want to get your coaches hired as well?
I think that's probably paramount. That's probably at the top of the list. You want to be able to go out. You have the coaching convention coming up in January where everybody's hanging out, and you probably want to do a lot of that beforehand.
And you don't take the job without having an idea of who some candidates are.
You've got the feelers out there already. You've been here for a week or just over a week, so you've got the feelers of who you'd like to bring into your system.
Incomplete to the end zone, 6 seconds left, and an opportunity for one more shot here for Hicks and the Mustangs.
Well, congratulations to head coach Skip Holtz. He's done an excellent job this season getting to bowl eligibility, finding wins in the last 2 weeks, and now scoring 51 points. Just a terrific effort by that defense.
And that'll do it. 51-10. Defense came to play for La Tech, and they finish off the season winning 3 straight and take down SMU, the inaugural champions in the 2017 DXL Frisco Bowl. So for our entire crew, Chris Button on the field, my partner John Congemi, Mike Cousins saying so long from Frisco, Texas. We thank you for watching, and SportsCenter comes your way now on ESPN.
Now it is, and here we are. Giddy up, Ponies, Texters, finish Frisco.